all the way. There we go. There we go. Now you can hear us, family. What's going on? What's going on? Hope everyone is doing well. Is that both
you
of us that's
already got
unmuted?
fired and you ain't even like
Is both of us
start
unmuted?
But I
yet.
had unmuted it, so I don't know why it muted it.
Cause you're
Is
fired.
both of us unmuted? I still see muted.
No, it's not because
Both unmuted.
no,
Okay,
it's fine
alright,
because
alright.
I can literally see the caption.
Okay.
So
Okay. As long as we got it.
we in there like whatever.
We didn't like Flint.
What? Anywho,
What's up, family?
welcome to In the
Welcome.
Key of J&A podcast.
Welcome.
The cut up. I hope you
Yeah.
got your cup.
Bro,
My
yes,
cup is
we already
actually
see
red.
you on, brother.
I got 2 cups today.
Yeah.
Amen. I got a nice red cup, and then I got my birthday cup. My shenanigans is already beginning.
Yeah. I got my apple juice, but we gonna pretend that it's
A
Cavassier.
lot.
Huh?
A lot. Cavassier. People still drink that?
Look, man. Brown Liquor Files.
Oh.
That's gonna be a new podcast. Y'all ready for that
Yeah.
podcast, Brown Liquor Files? Come
Boy.
on, that's gonna be the real. That's the real musicians cut up right there.
Well, that's going to be like after hours.
Yeah, that's the after hours joint.
That's
Y'all may
going to
not
be
be able
after
to handle
hours. You're not ready
everything
for
that we gonna talk about because we gonna talk about some things.
Oh,
Literally, up in
thanks,
there.
Rel.
You know, first let me give a shout out. First of
Appreciate
all,
it.
hold up. First of all, we want to thank God for everything that He's done. We want to first of all give honor to God.
We always give honor
We
to
wanna
God,
give honor to God.
and all that we do, but
yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, okay.
Now that we got that out the way, what's up, y'all? Now I can talk. So let me say a special thank you to my production assistant. She's Tiff tonight. You gotta see what she got on. She's showing everybody the ribs and bacon. So I'm telling you, she just like
ham hocks.
every now and then I'd be like, all right. She's showing the ribs and bacon tonight.
Oh,
said,
thank
okay.
you.
I
Nita's
said,
on. Hey, Nita.
Nita, what's up, honey?
Always together.
And
That's
how?
my
And
baby.
look! I can't forget the special guest of the night.
The special guest
You
of the
know,
night.
my wonderful biscuit.
Oh God.
I call her my biscuit, my Texas roll.
Here we go.
Huh? Popeyes. Huh?
Here we go. Anywho, Shauna made me some pretty, really pretty. I'm talking.
Okay,
There we
I'm
go.
sorry. My bad.
Shauna,
what's up, honey?
she made me some really pretty earrings for my birthday. I
Really?
get listen, I've been getting little small gifts here and there, and I appreciate it.
Okay.
Brian Rudd, he bought me some electric salt and pepper grinder
I
things,
was gonna
and
say when you said electric and then had your hand I'm
like this because you thought it was about to be something else.
Like electric what?
I would no, never mind.
See,
That's
I was just
for
like,
a different day.
Good gracious, y'all. Can we not have a conversation without it?
No,
going
we
there?
cannot. That's why we're us.
You know,
Miss Darlene. You remember Miss Darlene?
I don't. But hi, Miss Darlene.
She's
we love
from
you.
GE. She's my little baby girl.
It's
My
good.
little chocolate drop.
It's good to see everyone on.
Her
And,
daughter is my baby
no,
girl.
Listen, y'all, we got an amazing show for you tonight. We're going to get into something definitely heavy,
Yeah.
deep. But before we do that, it is.
Yes, I can go there. Thank you.
It is.
Thank you.
Listen, it is a birthday weekend.
Ha!
It is a birthday. Happy birthday to
Hey,
ya.
you can do that
Happy
later.
birthday.
No, don't ever do that.
Huh? Okay, so I may not be able to sing like she sang.
No. I'll sing happy birthday to myself first before you sing it like
I
that.
can't sing it like she sing it, but check this out. It is a birthday weekend, and we are giving a special shout out to my wife, Angel Morris.
Yes, let me sing
Huh?
the same.
Come on.
Yeah.
24 for the second time. Come on, you better go ahead. 24.
No, I'm not. I am
you
not
wanna tell your
ashamed of my age. It is a privilege to get to 46 years old. If you know
Hey,
anything about
46.
my life, it's a privilege to make it to 46.
Let me tell you something.
So
That is
I
a
am
blessing.
going to be 46, Lord willing, because I still
Everybody
gotta make it to Sunday.
type on there. Happy birthday to Angel. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Sunday is her official birthday.
Yes,
Sunday. Is her official.
Sunday,
But because
Lord,
we
have
on-
mercy.
We on tonight.
It's gonna be an
we
issue.
yeah.
Come
We gonna
Sunday.
definitely celebrate. And it's Pentecost Sunday.
Huh?
Huh?
Gonna be an
Pentecost
issue.
Sunday. Let me try it again. Yes. That is my Paul Temptations.
You did sound like it right there too.
Uh-huh. Not
Now you gotta sing the other song.
Which one?
Yes.
What?
No, never mind.
No.
Hold
Hold on. How'd it go?
No, please, never mind. I said
For
never
once,
mind. Oh no, I should
can
never
say,
oh God.
this is mine. You can't take it. Long as I know, I gotta try to get the growl. I got love.
Thanks, Troy.
Make it.
I appreciate it, Shona. Thank you, because
Come on.
yes, 46 is I'm
46
trying to
is
stay. You know what I mean?
You still look young.
I appreciate that, honey. You trying to get something later.
Yeah.
You trying to get something later.
I gotta try to get something. Let me tell you something. Real husbands know we
We gonna get.
I take it.
Oh.
I ain't gotta,
Tell the people.
I ain't gotta try. I'm about to say something. Good grief.
After this is this is not an after dark moment.
No, it's not after dark.
No,
Troy,
don't encourage
Shona,
that.
don't do it because I will sing. I will sing it.
No, because I just needed him to not sing.
I will sing
this
it.
is one part
Don't
that
push
he's going
me.
to try to go
I'll
for.
do it if you push me. Don't
push.
I'm like Ricky Dillon. It don't take much for me.
No, God.
It don't take much for me.
Not Ricky and the
if you push me, I'll do it.
Not Ricky and the Dillons. No, and no. But tonight we're going to try to do our best to stay in a upbeat mode. Yeah. But I think it was just necessary.
Chef Ty, love you, honey.
Hey Ty. I think it was just necessary to talk about grieving while still serving, or grieving in ministry.
Grieving in ministry tonight. Wow.
Grieving in ministry. Normally we are laughing and joking and cutting up, and that's what we're going to still try to keep that same, that same mode, but it's necessary to talk about it because I personally can say I lost myself for a few years in grief while still being in ministry. And it changed a lot. It changed a lot in me serving. It also changed the way I viewed some people in ministry that I served with.
What were you grieving about?
For me, I have two different situations where it was death that I was grieving.
Okay.
But then there was another situation, and I know this sounds like a little off, but I was grieving myself. Like I was grieving the detachment of who everybody wants me to be, as opposed to who I am.
So they wanted you to be a certain way.
Yes. And I felt like, okay, so we'll talk about me first. So like when I left music in 2016, if you remember, I was that year, 2016, 15, 16, right after we got married, I was everywhere, singing everywhere. Had a whole group and everything. It was, it was great. Wonderful. Shout out to Justified for all of you who were a part of it. Still love you. Appreciate you. But at the end of the year, and literally right after, I don't want to take it here, but I have to. Right after TC Thomas Clay passed away. And all the backstory, and anybody who was around at that time knows the backstory and how he and I are connected.
Right. And
the fact that my very first tour was his yes to be on that tour to me. And he literally passed away the same night of the first night of the tour when we were in New York. That broke me. The way he was talked about, the way he was treated when we were there. This is before he passed. When we were there, he was not talked about nicely. The people that were there, they didn't treat him very well that night. And literally, those who were there or remember what happened, they pulled the plug on him. Said his music was promoting spirits and all kinds of stuff inside the church. There was all kinds of stuff.
There was all types of things being said.
And he passed that night, and that shook my soul. It rocked me, because I'm like, the very same people that you're ministering to were the people that were tearing you down, and then you go and now those who were tearing you down are now sorry. And are you sorry because of the things that you were saying or the way that you treated him that night? Or are you sorry because he's just gone and you don't get a chance to rectify,
what you
or
said,
or apologize or ask for forgiveness, right? Hey, Nick, we love you, Nick.
So, dude.
So, that weighed heavily on me. He passed in October, and I remember the end of that year, the very last day of the year. I sang at North Church in Philadelphia, and literally right after I finished ministering, I walked outside and I said, I think I'm done. You were already outside, and I remember coming outside to you and I said, I think I'm done. Okay. Hey, Mel, you don't answer your phone, but we ain't gonna go there right now.
Hey, honey. Hey, Arnett.
But I walked out the door and I looked at you and I said, I think I'm done. And I remember by the time we got home, I had sent a group text to all the members of Angel Morrison Justified and said, as of this moment, the group is disbanded. And I literally let everybody know in that moment, December 31st, 2016, that I had retired from music. I wasn't doing it anymore. Because I was just so broken. I was so broken. And I was looking at how I looked at that situation, and I looked at how I was all over the place, but I didn't really feel like people cared about me. They wanted me to come. They wanted me to come sing. They wanted me to, minister at the church. In some churches, entertain them. And that's not who I was. And then it mirrored how I looked at the situation that happened the night he passed. And I said, I'm losing me. Being something I'm not. I love the Lord with all my heart and soul. I love gospel music. I'm a jazz head at heart, though. Right. You could hear that in my voice, that I am a person who loves jazz. But musically, it didn't even matter. I just felt like I was lost in the shuffle of the gospel circuit, and this is not who I am. I grew up in church, but I wasn't a church girl. And I'm not a church girl. Like, there's a total difference.
Right, of course.
And that wasn't me. No matter how much you try to dress it up, it just wasn't me. And my expression and love for God, it was just different. You wanted me to sing a certain type of music. Yeah. And I wanted to sing music the way I like to sing music. I love jazzy really music. Heavy. And it was very heavy. For me, it was extremely heavy. And the more I lost myself in it, the more I wanted to just die. Wow. I was ready to just die. And for those that didn't know, my husband knows this, so it's not like a secret. I have shared my testimony. 8 months into being married, I attempted suicide. Right. For the 4th time. Because it was just way too much. Everything was just too much. So I was grieving. And everybody automatically assumes that grief is only when somebody dies. But what about when you're dying and you're still alive?
Right. You're dying inside.
What about when your soul is dying?
Right.
And at that time, there was nobody. And yeah, I was a part of a church, but there was nobody. And there was nobody in a ministerial position that was trying to counsel me or help me or pray for me or none of that. For the most part, me and my husband have just been out here. We serve and we have a covering, but there hasn't been like a long-term pastoring. So there was none of that. And I was literally every day feeling like if God decided today was the day, I'm okay with it because I'm just tired. Right. I was that tired. So yes, I grieved death itself. I'll never forget 2018, May 31st. Right. I get the call. It was Good Friday. Yeah. I'm sorry, March 31st. It was Good Friday. 2018, March 31st, Good Friday. got up that morning on our way to the former church that we were we were ministering at and attending.
Right.
And it was an afternoon Good Friday service. And that morning, I got the call that my grandmother passed away. But I am the worship leader at this church.
Right.
So I had to still go in and do what I had to do. And do it with excellence. And I still remember while we were singing, I and the praise and worship team was singing. I remember I got so caught up in the song and I was so full, but I was full from grief and from worship that I literally turned around and just kneeled at the altar while everybody is still singing. Nobody picked up that I was in pain. Nobody picked up that I was hurting. So they just kept singing the background until I got my life together, stood back up off the altar, and went back to leading the song.
Wow.
And then the major one of all is losing Erica.
Yeah, that hurt.
Losing Erica, I was mad and angry at everybody, every person, every church, every leader, even God. And I drank consistently every day.
Wow.
Because that was my only escape. I can only escape in that way. It took a long time to come out of that situation, to get out of my own mind. And there's still nobody to say how to grieve healthy.
Wow.
And be in ministry. It's not just being in ministry and grieving. It's not just that. But how do you do it healthy and be in ministry? Because you still gotta, there's no bereavement.
I don't think nobody has that answer because most churches don't take that into consideration. They just say
pray about it.
You know,
or put a praise on it.
Praise on it. You'll feel better.
And you know what? I can do all that stuff, but then when I get home and it's just me and God, and I'm praying like you're asking, like you told me to, and I'm worshiping like you told me to, and I could eat, and anybody, especially the people in this room, y'all know I will dance all over my house because I'm not a Sunday worshiper.
Yeah.
I'm an everyday worshiper. I will get out of my car at a stoplight and dance if that's where I'm at. But what if that's just a bomb or a Band-Aid? Because something will trigger you. Something will trigger you, and then you're feeling like you're right back sinking down into this hole all over again.
That's hard.
So what happens when you are grieving a loved one, grieving a job, something that you felt that was important to you? Because a relationship, something that you have an investment in. Something that you have invested your time, your energy, your love, your space, your mindset, anything that you have put to like you've opened your heart up to, right? And somehow it just is killed in some kind of way.
That's hard to say.
What happens? Because you still have to get up. You still have to get up Sunday morning and be in that service at 7 a.m. and make sure everything is working right, and make sure that the sound is right, and the announcements is going right, and the microphones is where they're supposed to be, and that organ is screaming like it's supposed to. You still got to do all those things. Like, nobody has an outlet. And then you wonder why people smoke weed in the church. Well, people drink in the church. Or commit suicide in church. Pastors leaving pulpits. And then the next time you hear, oh, this pastor committed suicide right after they just preached the sermon.
It happens all the time.
What about, okay, and I don't want to take it here because I know my baby's sitting right here, but I'm going to say it. There are people that have sicknesses. I'll just say that. Sicknesses that they're living with daily.
Yeah.
And they're grieving life because they can't live the life that they're normally living because they're sick.
Yeah.
You can't get up and go to work like you used to. What about, okay, I'll give you one even better that has nothing to do with sickness or death. What about people that grieve because they're retired?
Well, a young man, Aaron, said we have a ministry called
Aaron, that's my baby.
Called Going Too Soon, because we understood that we didn't have a full understanding about grief.
Right. And
the church
Aaron, I'm praying for you, brother. I love you.
The church doesn't really teach about grief too much. You know, that's something that's kind of taboo.
Rodney Green, I love you, brother. Hey, Miss Gloria.
You know, honestly, I wasn't going to share this, but since we're on that topic,
Sean Lee, we love you, brother.
What's up? So, listen, everybody that's online, let me share this with you. What I'm about to say and share with you guys, I've never spoke on publicly, but I'm about to speak publicly now. The people in this room, besides Angel, have no idea what I'm about to share with them. However, I am about to share some very deep and personal trauma. About a few years ago, maybe about 10 years ago, I was in Florida with Zach Williams in one accord.
Lord.
And I was in Jacksonville. Now, I need y'all to follow me on this one. Those of you that are online, you can follow me on this one. Because it's not a short story, but I guarantee you, when you listen to it, you're going to understand more about J. Mars. I went to Florida with Zach Williams in one accord Sunday. It was a Sunday 10 years ago. I remember it well. And I played for the service. They danced all around the church. Danced. Holy Ghost came in. After service, everybody got back on the bus. Angel left before I did. She got on the plane and left that morning. I stayed. Mm-hmm. And as I was getting on the bus, a little old lady came to me. And, well, no, I'm sorry. Let me back up. She did not come to me. She came to one of our security detail at the time.
Oh,
and
yes.
She asked him, she said, "Who is James?" Just like that.
Yep.
"Excuse me, sir. Who is James?" He said, "The organist?" She said, "Yes." "Where is he? I have a message from the Lord for him."
Jesus.
And he went and found me. He said, "An older lady would like to talk to you." So he took me to where the lady was. I said, "How you doing?"
Janae.
Nice and, sprightly. I was smiling as I usually
Victoria,
do. Nice to meet you, ma'am. So she says to me, without a smile, she said, "Listen, I have a message from the Lord for you." She says, "You're about to go through a bad storm." She says, "I don't know what it is." He didn't share that with me. "You're about to go through a very bad storm. However, keep praying. You will come out of this." And left. She didn't pray with me. She didn't hold my hand. She did nothing but gave me what the word of the Lord said at that time and left. As Nathan did Jacob, wasn't that it?
Yeah.
It was David. I'm sorry, Nathan did David.
Yeah, that and how Jesus told the disciples on the boat.
She came and told me exactly what the Lord told her, and she didn't do anything else but what the Lord told her to do. Now I get back in. At the time, me and Zach was in a limo type car. So I told Zach, I said, "This lady came to me and totally told me that. And I'm like, the Lord's gonna do what? What am I supposed to do?" Zach ain't having that. He was like, "I don't know."
Go home and pray.
Go and pray. He's like, "Man,
go and pray."
That's deep. He's like, "I don't know what to tell you, because, like, if God told you that, then just nothing I can say or nothing I can do."
Shout out to Zach. He's been here for the
Exactly,
entire relationship. Like, my God.
Fast forward.
I
got home 2 days later.
Hey, Richard.
At the time,
Love you.
my daughter was 5. Jaylyn, she was 5, and I was living in my mother's house at the time, and so me and Angel were dating. I was still young, and
Here we go.
I was. So a knock came on my door. It was the police. I'm like, what's going on? They gave me whatever that is, that paperwork.
A little side. No, it was like a subpoena, like a warrant.
It wasn't a warrant, but it was like a some kind of citation saying that I had raped my own child. Literally.
Lord.
Now, at the time, I was going through a huge custody battle. Huge custody battle. It was nasty. When I tell you,
Got you, bro.
at the time, I didn't know how to feel or what to do. So, at the time, my child's mother had her full time. And I went to custody court fighting for her to get her back. So
I'm trying not to get triggered. Forgive me, yo.
I went to custody. I went to custody court.
Lord.
I went to custody court.
Charlie.
The judge says, "Okay, Mr. Morris, you can have your daughter such and such a day, such and such a time." Okay, cool. I was supposed to get her on that Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
I had toys under the tree. Everything was ready.
Hey, Chef Cora.
My daughter did not show up
Did not show up.
at all. She did not show up in January, and I had to go to court in February. I went to custody court, family court they called it. I call it custody court, but family court. Went to family court. Y'all praying with me? I went to family court.
I'm praying for me. You should pray for me.
And it was me and my mother. Angel was at work at the time. Me and my mother. And my child's mother was sitting in the other chair. My daughter was sitting on my lap. And at the time, remember, she was 5 years old. So I haven't seen her in a while. So I bought one of her. This is when the Powerpuff Girls was in full force. So I bought her a Powerpuff Girl. So she's playing with the Powerpuff Girl. The police walk in. They said, "Okay, you're ready for your."
I swear.
You're ready for your hearing. I go into the hearing with the judge, me and the child's mother. The judge says, "Mr. Morris, we have a warrant for your arrest."
Oh, I gotta take another drink.
They tell me to stand up. They place the handcuffs on me. They take me down to the holding cell with about 3 other guys. I got the charges in my hand. I don't know what these charges mean. I never been to jail in my life.
It does not. Richard, you're absolutely correct. Down here in Pennsylvania, it's
No,
a
it doesn't
3%
doesn't
chance
usually
that
go
you
on the
get off.
father's side.
3%.
Doesn't usually go on the father's side. So
You're absolutely correct.
let me finish because I wanna get through this. So I'm in the holding cell for almost 8 hours, from 10 in the morning to about possibly 1 a.m. 1 a.m. the next day. 1 a.m. they finally take me down to the other jail, so I can be, I guess, arraigned in court. So about 1 in the morning, I go see the judge. The judge tells me, "Mr. Morris, you're in violation of you're charged with such and such and such." I'm like, huh? What the devil does that mean? I ain't say what the devil is. I said some words.
He said words.
Yeah, I said words. Cause I'm like, I don't know what that means. You got me in a holding cell with all these other guys, and I'm like, and they keep you in there for hours. It's not minutes. So I'm in there, going through my own personal situation and, cracking up inside, And at all that time, she's flipping out because I ain't been home. She ain't get no call. She don't know what's going on. The way she found out
Boy.
where I was, the way she found out where I was, y'all,
Lord.
was the child's mother put it on Facebook.
I
finally got him locked up. Ha.
Lord have mercy.
And
Lord have mercy.
one of my homies happened to see it, like, called Angel. Do you know what Jay is? She's like, no, I don't know.
No, he called me and he said, no, he called me and he said, do you know where Jay is? And I said, well, by now he should be on his way to work, but he had court today. That's what I remember exactly. He said, I said, but he had court today. He said, no, he's not.
Yeah, he's in court. He in jail.
He's in jail. I said, excuse me?
He in jail.
And that wonderful school that I worked for, shout out to y'all. I'm so sorry. I tore my classroom up.
He said, Jay is in jail. Yep.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I'm in jail, not realizing what's going on. How in the world did I get in this
Richard,
position?
I wanted to tear fire.
Oh,
out of her.
Now here's the thing. At this time, I still don't know because they didn't tell me. Like, I still don't know why I'm even locked up. I don't even know why I'm even in here. So 3 days.
3 days.
3 days of this hell. That's really what it was. I can't shower. I can't do anything. I don't have anything with me. Like, nothing.
No.
So finally, I get the word, that, okay, Mr. Marsh, you may bond. And
yes, he did, because I made sure of that.
I get out there, Angel's waiting on me. She's crying or whatever, and my mom.
And I showed up with food.
She showed up with food, y'all. She showed up with food. She showed up with a whole soul food platter. I'm like, oh.
Like 3 of them.
And I'm sure I stunk.
He did, but that's okay.
I'm sure because I didn't wash for like 3 days because it's jail, y'all. Jail.
Yes, yes, Mo. 3 days.
3 days.
And the thing about it was, on our end was, they said to us, if he's not out by Friday, he's going to have to stay in here until his court date, which was 6 weeks away. And I was like, hell no, he's not.
Yeah, they had me in there.
And I took every dime I had. And I'll say exactly how much it was. I took all $10,000 I had in the bank. Yes, I did. And nope, we weren't married. We weren't even engaged. We were still just dating. And I had a little over $10,000 in my bank account. And I took $10,000 out. Did.
So, at this point, I'm out of jail. And I get home, a week or two goes by. Hey, wife. A week or two goes by. I finally get the documents. These documents said that I was charged with 6 counts of what is called indecent exposure. Now, if you don't know what indecent exposure is something where it could be of a sexual nature to a child of some sort. Of some sort. It don't matter what it was. Some sort. Now, thanks be to God for my family.
Yes.
Because one thing about my family, my aunts and my
shout out to them. They were the best.
They ain't gonna let nothing happen to Jimmy if they can help it. Baby James is what they call me still.
Don't call him that though.
Don't call me that though. But whatever the case is, they made sure they was like, we're gonna get you the best lawyer. Yeah. And they did.
Yes, they did.
So when I read the charges and I read what I was looking at, it said I was looking at 25 years.
25
minimum
years.
25 years.
25
in prison.
Oof, 25 years.
Now
let's back up real fast. We're talking about a man who ain't never been in trouble a day in his life. He's never smoked anything. I don't think he's drank anything until he met me. Amen. I'm
Attitude.
small of a corrupt. I'm a little bit of a corrupter, but that's okay. But he barely drinks anything now. Like he's
Look,
this,
Mel, talking about, no, you won't, Mel.
this he's not a person.
DT was like, "Hey, you gonna let him tell the story?"
No,
So
but I have to give that backstory because he's never been in trouble, any kind of trouble.
I'm not that
ever.
dude.
He ain't
I'm
that
not
dude.
So let me finish the story. So after this, they called me into a lawyer's office. They said, "Look here, Mr. Morris." He said, "What you're charged with is not an easy situation." He said, "Matter of fact, I'm not gonna lie to you. You're probably gonna go to prison."
Right.
He says, "And I'm a bleep good lawyer."
And I said, "No, the hell he's not."
He says, "I'm not gonna lie to you. You're probably gonna go to prison because this is." He said, "You are charged with the only crime
that
doesn't need
require
evidence.
An evidence.
Simply because of hearsay. They can lock you up."
And not only that, but the hearsay can come from anywhere. And then he came back with
matter.
Then he came back with that statistic, that percentage, and he was like, only 3%.
3%. You have a 3%.
He said you have a 3% chance in the state of Pennsylvania.
The state of Pennsylvania.
I said, whoa, hold up.
A 3% chance of actually getting out of this. So, my mind is like,
Lord be the 3%.
Now, hold up. This is where we're talking about grieving.
Grieving in ministry.
Because believe you me, people on Facebook saw that post. Hold up, Jay's in jail. And it circulated like wildfire.
Yeah, sure did.
Y'all
love to share stuff.
They love to share. It got like 18. Boy, they shared that. Jay's in jail. I knew it. See, he be thinking he be all this and all that. I knew it.
Pastors talking trash.
Pastors that I played for free.
For free. Oh, we ain't gonna go there today.
Been at their churches. Did favors for them. Played for them for years. I knew it. He ain't my son. I knew it. That's what I'm.
Water under the bridge, Mel.
Boy, turned on me.
Turned
on
him. Literally was sending me messages. You sure you want to be with this person?
Boy, they was sending messages.
Yeah. I remember, y'all.
Yep.
I know who you are, and you know who I am too. I remember.
So all this time that this is going on, I had to play underneath this. I was still going to church.
3 churches at that.
3 churches where they knew what was going on.
Knew him, knew her.
They knew me, and she was there too. She was there. The baby's mother was there, shouting and everything, and I'm playing. Right.
Woo!
She was there. She wasn't hiding.
Nope.
She was there, knowing what she did. She was there. And I had to play. I had to find some way to keep a smile on my face and not get off that organ and throw it at her. For real, that's really grieving.
That's real grief. That's real grief.
And let me share this with you.
And was not able to see his daughter
I wasn't
at
able to see.
all.
She never brought my daughter to church.
At all. 22
never brought
months.
my daughter to church.
22 months. He wasn't able to look at her.
This didn't just go on for weeks. This was a few years.
Grief.
This was month after month that I had to play and see people, hear people talk behind my back when I left.
Yep.
And do nothing.
Shout out to y'all. Cause y'all decent.
Shout out to y'all. Because, you still played a part. But I had to.
And we still loved on you.
I had to share private tears. Because it couldn't be public. You know who got the boatload of it? She did. Because whenever it came to my time in court, I'm not gonna lie, I became a different person. I was very mean. I was horrible. Because I didn't know how to deal with my grief. I didn't know how to deal because I was so pissed.
Right. But there was no outlet. You would think that that church would have been the outlet for him to be able to let all that out. But it wasn't. It was like work. There was very few people. Again, shout out. I have to shout him out again this week. Shout out to Pastor Brian Keith Knight.
Brian Knight, we thank you.
Bethel Highway, because he was there.
He was one of the
there.
ones.
He was one of the ones who constantly was praying, checking on him, checking on me.
Right.
And we thank you for that, because That's why you married us, brother. That's the reason why you married us, because
Exactly.
you made sure that at least in some capacity you cared enough about his soul that he didn't die while he was on that organ.
Now, let me finish the story. So, every week while I'm in the room
Deanna,
with these folks
congratulations,
talking,
love bug.
saying whatever they're saying, Christmas came, Thanksgiving, the holidays were the worst for me.
He kept his Christmas tree up for months.
I kept my Christmas
with
tree
the
up.
Gifts
with the gifts
it.
underneath, because I was in faith that God would bring my daughter back to me.
But he was grieving.
I was grieving though, because every time I kept seeing that tree, it reminded me.
Can I pause right here? I have to say this part because I have to say it. It bears saying it. I remember a time where I walked in. I was in my kitchen cooking, and James had came over, and he was in the living room, and I was cooking, and I could hear him sniffling. It was close to holiday time, and I could hear him sniffling, but he was trying to like hold his tears back, and I knew, so I purposely stayed inside the kitchen. But then when I brought him his plate, I'll never forget this as long as I live. This man looked at my face and said, "I kind of wish she was dead."
Yeah.
I will never forget that. He said to me, "I kind of wish she was dead." Now, in my mind, because y'all know how I am and you know who I am, how I am and who I am, first thing I thought was he was talking about your baby mom. So I'm like, yeah, I'm agreeing. But he's like, he was like, this pain hurts so bad.
Yeah.
That for me, it'd be better off if my daughter was dead.
Yeah.
Rather than her being alive and I can't see her or be with her.
Because then I can move on.
And then I can move on. And that's the type of grief. That's why I said sometimes it's not a person that's dead and gone. This person is here, but you can't interact. You can't have any kind of parts with them. And there's a lot of fathers out there, coming into Father's Day, that cannot see their children for whatever reason.
Children. Right.
And most of the time, not all the time, because there are some, there's some dads out there that's, they're trifling. But there are some that are not. And you're not letting them see their children.
Right. So, hold on,
let's keep going, but I needed to make sure that was said, because that's a part of grieving. When you wished, not wished, but that's how he felt. Like, I would rather her be gone so I can process the grief and move on.
Now, hold on, let me finish the story. So,
Judah,
Christmas time.
We love you, brother.
What's up, Judah?
I know this is going to be a heavy conversation for you.
For the first time, the first Christmas came horrible, and court dates. I must have went to court at least 40 times in 2 years, because they kept continuing my case and continuing, and I would have to be there, and I would have to relive this horrible
over and over
situation all over again. And so what happened was, after about 2 years, they finally brought me back in, and I had to go to what is called a tender years hearing. In Pennsylvania, a tender years hearing means that the mother can testify on behalf of the child. And it's admissible in court, no matter what she has to say. So what happened was, and I'm like, and now the whole time I'm like, I had got to the point, because I was believing God. I was just like, you know what, God's gonna get me out of this. Lord, I had to remember what the Lord told me. Remember at the beginning, y'all, what I told you that the Lord shared with me? You're gonna go through a bad storm, but you will come out.
But you will come out. Yep.
At one point in time, I'm like, all right, I don't see how this is going to happen, because honestly,
towards the end, I was done.
I finally got it in my mind that I'm going to jail. For real. I got my affairs in order. She'll tell you, I packed all my stuff.
He tried to, and I was like, hell no, you're not.
I had about 5 cars at the time.
Started selling them.
Yeah, I started selling my cars. I'm like, look, this car go to that person, this car, I want you to sell my keyboard, sell this.
And I was like, hell no.
I'm about to go to jail.
We're not selling this. We're not doing that.
I'm fine with it. If this is what God wants me to do, I'm fine with it. I settled it in my heart.
Exactly, Richard.
And so
Pennsylvania favors the mother.
After I settled it in my heart, I went to the tender years hearing.
Patrice, we love you.
Patrice, love you, honey. And I sat there and I had to finally listen to everything that was being shared about me by the mother. And so I'm like, and I had to look at her. I couldn't say a word. I had to look at the person telling the lies about me, and I could not say a word.
And I remember saying that to him before he went to court. I said, are you willing to allow God to do this for you and you never get to tell your side of the story?
Now,
are you willing to win?
Let
I had
me
to tell him that before he went there because he was
waiting.
ready to fight everybody
right,
in there.
Right, the folks are waiting. Yeah, the folks is waiting. So I'm in there and I'm looking at her, telling whatever she's saying. The lawyer, my lawyer, came to me and said, "Listen, I got this gentleman here that's going to represent you because he's good with liars." That was his thing. He said he is good with liars. So he's going to represent you today. For 8 hours of court.
I was blowing his
7
phone
a.m.
up.
She's blowing I can't answer, obviously. But from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. court. The entire time, my lawyer is roasting the mess out of this young lady. To the point where the judge brings my lawyer and the prosecutor up to he said, "Come here."
Right.
He says, "Listen, I don't know what you're trying to do, but it ain't working. This woman's obviously lying." He told the prosecutor this. "We need to settle this now." Now, it wasn't over because I didn't know they said this. I had to read the transcripts because I got the transcripts.
Oh, yes. It's all public record.
It's all public record.
All public record.
I had to get all that. I said, okay. Finally, I walk out the courtroom. Now, I ain't going to tell you about the fight that I was about to have out the courtroom because that's a whole other story.
No, we ain't going to go there.
But whatever.
We ain't going to take it there.
No, we're not going to take it there. Okay. So, after I leave, they said, okay.
Oh, Mel,
Lord, no warnings,
don't go
Mel.
to jail. Don't go
no
to jail. That's okay.
No warnings, Mel. So, I leave.
You got talking code, Mel.
I leave the courthouse. And my lawyer says to me, "Listen, that was good in there today, but we're not out of the woods."
Yeah, Richard.
What they're going to do, he says, they're going to give you a polygraph test. He says, it's optional if you want to take it. I said, okay, whatever. I don't care. Now, I'm being totally transparent with you guys. They bought me in to the polygraph test. Are y'all following me on there?
I'm feeling like
they bought me into the polygraph test. Hooked up my finger or whatever they do.
Y'all still listening? Give them some heart so I can know y'all still listening.
They bought me in. They said, "Mr. Morris, did you ... They asked me like 10 questions. They told me what they want to ask me before they did it. Very open. I said, sure, you can ask me whatever you want. One of the questions was, "Mr. Morris, did your daughter ever touch your penis?" I said, no. Okay. They went out.
Whoa.
They said, "Mr. Morris, it looked like you failed your polygraph test." I said, "What?"
Watch this. Watch this.
What do you mean? They was like, "Well, the questions came back fine. It's just that question where she said, where we asked, did your daughter touch your penis? It's says you lied."
Watch this.
I said, "Well, obviously something is wrong with your machine." He said, "No, Mr. Morris, it's not a lie. Your lawyer will call you." So I'm like, "Lord, what are you doing? You said you would."
What?
Why? Like, how in the world would I fail a polygraph test when it's the truth?
Technicalities.
My lawyer called me up 2 hours later. said to me, Jay, listen, this is how it worked. She said, first of all, the polygraph test, this is how it works. When they asked you, have your daughter ever touched your penis, they never factored in when the daughter actually sat on your lap at court.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
It doesn't matter
right
if it was that way or not. The fact that when we looked at the cameras, when you were with her and she was sitting on your lap, to the polygraph
this is how
test,
they try to put him in jail. Like,
it meant that you're lying.
Correct.
And I'm like, when I said some words, I'm like, you must be.
Yeah, those words, those unsavory words.
He said so.
Exactly. Because they saw him on the camera with her sitting on the lap. That's why they asked the question.
So look, he says they're gonna throw out the polygraph test. He said they're going to choose whether to take this to trial in November. And this was like May, so I still had months to go before all this. Now I still ain't seen my child yet. Right. Now. This is
a month after we got engaged.
I'm gonna finish this up because we got to close up the podcast.
All right. No.
I'm gonna finish it up.
We good.
I know I'm taking a long time, fam.
I'm sipping for you, honey.
So
you're fine. You got until 10 o'clock.
Finally, no, we ain't gonna take that long. Finally, in November, after all that, I'm still playing for churches. Still getting talked about. Still listen, and I'm playing for all the groups I'm playing for now.
Right.
Like still. So in November, my lawyer calls me and said, "Listen, I'm gonna talk it over with the judge and the prosecutor. I'll call you if you have to come in."
Right. And it was like that. It was like that for the next 4 months.
I was just like,
so
hold on, let me finish. So I'm waiting and waiting. I'm stressing. Yeah, you'll hear the jokes in the back. I'm waiting and nothing happening.
Nothing.
And let me share this. Through all this time, all these months, this is gonna help somebody. God was silent.
Right.
He did not answer a word. Why? Because he already said what he said.
Right. And I remember he used to come to me and say,
praying,
I'm praying, and God's not speaking to me. And I'm like,
not saying anything. Lord, what am I supposed to do? Tell me what to do.
And there was nothing. He kept saying, I don't hear the Lord. I don't feel the Lord. I'm like,
my plane is not the same. I don't hear him. I'm going through, Lord. Where are you? Where are you? I need you. I'm about to spend 25 years in a 6x6 cell.
Yeah.
Where are you?
And every court date, every week of the court date, he was just angry and mean.
Boy, I was a different person.
And it was just like, that Gemini was coming out, boy.
So.
Woo! Lord help me.
In November.
Richard.
November, I finally.
Woo! Come on, Victoria. She said he wasn't speaking because he was working.
He was working, definitely. But he said what he said. God has spoken once. Twice have I heard it.
Huh?
He don't need to speak it again. He already said what he said. But when you're going through,
you don't
day by day, hour by hour, you don't want to hear that. You're like, Lord, where are you? I need you now. I need a word. I need to know where I am in this process and how long. He never told me how long.
Right. He didn't say how long.
He never told me how long. So,
yeah.
I finally got the call from the DA.
That was March.
And my lawyer finally said, listen, Mr. Morris, they're going to drop all charges.
That was March. That was the only, let me tell y'all something. That was the only day that he allowed me. Notice what I said. We was engaged. That was the only court date that he allowed me to go to court. I wasn't allowed to go to none of the court dates because he already knew what I was going to do.
Look, when I got that call, Mr. Morris, you don't realize you made it past a 97%
97%.
chance
Woo! Thank you.
of you being imprisoned.
Forgive me, y'all.
He said
Woo!
you are a part of the
Woo!
3% now that actually
Thank you, Lord.
got out of this, because
Woo! Thank
there
you.
are many fathers in jail. He says I represented them. There are many fathers in jail right now
Thank you, Lord.
that can't go anywhere.
Thank you, Lord.
He said you are part of a 3% in the entire state.
Thank you. Whew.
Now,
Lord have mercy.
here's the deal. Remember, y'all, I still ain't got my daughter.
We're talking about grieving.
I still ain't got my daughter. Yeah, look, I love the fact, thank you, Lord, but now it's time. And those of you fathers, you know, you realize, you understand, the court don't take the court ain't fast at all.
They're not fast, and they don't believe.
They're very slow. Yeah, the courts are very slow. They're not fast. They are not fast by a long shot.
Thank
so
you, baby.
Now that I got this criminal charge off, now it's time to go back to family court. Now it's time to get my daughter. So now I have to wait almost 6 months to get a court date, because that's what the courts do. So I waited.
Jesus.
Waited more.
Woo!
And finally got this court date. And this time I brought Angel with me.
Because I'm ready to fight.
So,
because I know
this court date.
I know what it is.
This court date.
I went up to the fight.
Hold on. This court date's finally here.
Yeah.
And for the first time, my daughter is mandated to be there now. Because the judge is pissed. The judge read my file. The judge is pissed.
He read everything.
He's like, make sure the daughter is there. So now the mother has to bring the child. So we're in the hallway of the family court. And my daughter finally sees me, and I look at her, and I'm not gonna lie, I start busting out. But you know, in the thug way. I wasn't, you know, I'm just like, being honest with you. I was just like, I can't just show it. You know what I'm saying?
But it's been 22
I was done.
months.
It's been 22 months since I seen my daughter's sweet face. So she looks at me and like, do I really recognize her? And I'm like, and I'm trying to wave. I'm like, hi, sweetie. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, I don't know how to act. I'm like,
yeah.
She's there. I'm like,
yeah.
she's there. And so.
And I'm like, calm down. Just wait.
Yeah. No, but it's just like, wait. I didn't want to wait. I wanted her now. I missed her. So I got the family court. The judge called me and the child's mother in, and at that time I didn't know Angel had already called my daughter over to her.
Sure did.
And she recognized Angel.
Because who gonna check me?
Right.
Who gonna do something?
She recognized
Who gonna do something in here?
She recognized Angel. So the judge looked at me and he looked at my record. He says, "Are you the same guy that just got off these charges?" I said, "Yes, sir." He said, first of all, he looked at the mother. He was like, "I know you're lying, because there's no way that he's standing here with what I'm looking at right now and he's lying."
Yes, Richard. Yes.
So obviously it must be you. Now, mind you,
Lord.
mind you, he's already upset, because now he's looking at her when all the time he was looking at me, because that's how they are. Look at the fathers first. You're guilty till proven innocent. Now he's looking at her, and he says, "Mr. Mars, do you love your daughter?" I said, "Yes, I do, very much." "Do you want your daughter home with you?"
But
I said,
then don't
"Yes,
forget.
I do."
So then, right after that, they come out to where I'm at, and they come and get Jalen from me.
Yep.
And then they come out, and Jalen goes in.
Mm-hmm.
Now she's pacing around, and I am watching her like a hawk, because I'm waiting for you to I just want you to just take 1 inch on this side of the courtroom. Just take 1 inch on this side. I want you to just take an inch over here. The whole time though, she's in the judge's chambers. Jalen's in the judge's chambers with the bailiff and the judge. And then,
And
2 minutes later,
even I don't hear what she
yeah,
said.
none of us know what's going on.
None of us know what's going on.
It's in the transcripts, though. That's how we found out. 2 minutes later, she comes back out. They go back in.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen says, they asked me. She comes over to me and Terrell, because Terrell was there. And she's sitting with us, and I didn't ask her. She looked at me. She said, they asked me if I wanted to go with my mom and my dad. And I was like, really? And she said, I want to go with my dad. In the transcripts, it says that the judge says to her, if he did any of the things that you say that he did, why does this child still want to go with her father?
Right.
Now, I've been molested many, many years. I've been raped 3 times. There's no way in hell I want to go with the person that has done foul things to me. Mm-hmm. And the judge literally put that in the transcripts. If he did what you say he did to this child, why does she still want to go with him?
So, the judge brought us back in the courtroom. He said, now, I must point out this point. My lawyer has been the same lawyer the entire time for family court. Before court, let me show you how God worked, because I missed this tidbit. Before court.
Oh, yeah.
Her lawyer quit.
Quit.
We got a notice that her lawyer
quit.
Literally. What is it, recused herself? Is that it?
Yeah, she did.
She recused herself.
She brought the paperwork in. She walked in, and next thing you know, she was walking out. And I'm like, where's she going?
Now, mind you, the judge is reading all this. He said, Sister so-and-so, Miss so-and-so, did your judge recuse herself because of moral and ethical issues? You know what that means.
It means I know that you're lying, and I don't want to have no parts.
And you're trying to do something. Now that I realize all the time I represented you, this man was about to go to prison for something that never took place.
And I'm not going to be a part of putting this person in prison.
And now that I found out you're lying to me,
I don't want to have nothing.
I don't want to have nothing to do with you. Now you're in court by yourself.
Richard, that took me a long time to get there.
You're in court by yourself. So, the judge looks over to me.
Nothing but God, Richard, I promise you.
Says, Mr. Morris, I'm going to send your daughter home with you. Full custody.
Uncontested custody.
Uncontested. Full. Matter of fact, mother's having issues over there. He said to her, if you want to see your child, you can have visitation supervised.
By the police.
Visitation by the police. Supervised visitation.
But if you miss
two, it don't matter whether it's this year or years to come. If you miss two,
unexcused or excused,
don't matter. Mr. Morris get
full uncontested custody until she turns 18 years old.
So, when I tell you the dance that I did,
Patrice,
the dance that I did, oh my gosh. When I tell you, boy, I said, God, you did just
what you said you were going to
do.
And more.
He
did more.
I was just like, wow.
Than I ever expected.
Now,
that's like on time.
The greatest part was when I went to church with my child in front of all those
that said
what they said,
what they were saying about him.
And I still have my daughter.
Still,
and
y'all know Jay Broadway, and she is excelling.
And she is excelling in pretty much
every area of her life.
And
just got saved and baptized. Oh, that's important.
So, not to mention the mother
in the presence of his enemies.
So you know the mother had supervised visits. So the mother did one visit, and then she got upset, saying, "I don't want to visit my child with police. Y'all making me feel like a criminal." I said, I said,
and let me share this. Let me share this because
I had to laugh.
This goes back to some of the things that Richard was saying, and some of the things that the men go through when they're falsely accused. And I really feel like this should be pushed, that when men are falsely accused by women, and especially in this way, but in any way possible, like there should be a charge on them. So after we celebrated and all that wonderful stuff, we went back to the arresting officers in the city of Chester, and took him the transcripts, took him everything the release papers, everything that he needed.
All that.
And we
the
talked
chief
to
of police
the chief
at
of
the
police.
time.
Yeah, the chief of police. And we went and talked to him and said, now that we have found that he was falsely accused, falsely arrested,
and the arrest was made right there,
and the arrest was made in Chester, we of course we want to get this expunged off of his record, but also, can't he file charges
against the young,
against the young lady for false, evidence and false this and false that? And do you know
what he said?
Let me tell y'all. You want your blood to boil?
Hold on.
Here's the reason.
Hold up. My mom was sitting right here, and you were sitting on this
and
side.
I almost went to jail.
All was sitting in front of him, and he looks me right in my face, no lie,
right in the face.
He says, no, you can't file charges. Matter of fact, if it was up to me, you still be in jail.
If it was up to me, you still be in jail.
You still be locked up.
Because I don't believe it.
I don't believe it. If it was up to me, you still be.
That's what he said.
He told me that to my face.
He said if it was up to me, you still be locked up because I don't believe it.
Oh.
He said no. He said nobody gets off on that charge. Mind you, Jalen is sitting right there.
Yeah, look,
she's sitting with us, and he looked at my husband and said,
"Looked at me right
no."
away.
And I mean with a nasty attitude. Yep. No, because I don't believe it. If it were up to me, you'd still be locked up.
Still be locked up.
Girl.
Oh,
girl.
Hey, my mom had to say, James,
yeah, he pushed me out the door.
Let's go.
My husband ain't never put his hands on me, but he pushed me out that door.
I was pissed.
Because I kept turning around like, wait a minute.
You gonna tell me that to my face?
He like, let's just go. Let's just go. Push me out the door.
But you gonna tell me that to my face though? If it was up to me, you still be locked up.
Flipping tables, honey. Flipping tables.
I was just like
flipping tables.
It didn't matter.
It didn't even matter that he was innocent.
Evidence. I had papers of every sort that he needed to see. None of that mattered.
It didn't matter to him that all that mattered was that he was a black man accused of something that he felt he should have went to jail for.
And my lawyer.
And then he grieved that.
And
then he grieved that after because he felt like what about me?
I felt like I got cheated.
What about me is like, why don't I get justification? And it goes back to what I said to him before he went to court. I said, what if you never get to tell your side of the story? What will happen if I said, are you okay? Are you okay with never being able to share your story and win? Mm-hmm. Are you okay with that? I said, can you handle that? Because God will do exactly what he said he's going to do, but you may never get to open your mouth in that courtroom.
Right. And I didn't. I never had a chance.
It was because James was black. Period.
I never had a chance. And like I told y'all, this will be the last time you hear of this. Because I'm not going to...
The chief of police, yes. The chief of police was of a lighter hue. Yes, he was.
So, this will be the last time that I speak on this publicly. But I'm speaking on this because we're talking about grief and grieving.
Right, because I'm going to say this. We don't even have feelings towards her.
No.
We're totally over it. We feel like Jalen was the justification that we needed. Yeah. We got our daughter, and that's all that matters. However God handles the situation and her, we have nothing, no ill will, nothing bad to say about it. It's over. It's water under the bridge.
Yep.
God provides in every area. And he provided us to be able to say, you know what, miss, ma'am, have a good life. Just do not bother our child. Period.
So, and going forward, Angela,
exactly, Marlisa.
So, and going forward, some know that, Angel and I, at the, we're looking for a surrogate, you know. And so, but this is the reason why I have not really pushed to have another child, because of the trauma that I went through,
the grief
with the other one.
The grief,
and
I know he's not saying anything about me. I know that.
No,
but I get it.
I can't tell you that I'm ready to go through that and trust another woman with that potential.
And I don't feel no type of way about that, because even though I was a byproduct, I guess the word is, of what he went through, I can't even imagine what that would feel like to be you in that situation. So I don't even feel any type of way about you saying that, because if it were me, I'd probably say the same thing. Like, I don't want to, if I was in a traumatic relationship with one of my children's fathers, which I've never been, and thank you, Lord, for the men that I actually chose. But if I were, I don't think I would want to have any more. I mean, all right, I'll put it like this. Having my daughter, and the way my pregnancy went with Kai, and how much strain and stress on my body, she almost killed me. Literally, almost killed me. I almost had a stroke on the table. That grief, that's why it took me 12 and a half years to have another one. So I get what he's saying. Like, who wants to even think about going through that again?
Right. Who wants to deal with all that? You have to, you have to now put your trust in somebody
Very
else.
True.
Very
true, Richard.
It's just like, it's a very traumatic situation. So all of this happened years ago, but
he still feels it.
Feeling it. It still hurts. There's still certain songs, I'm not going to say which song, but there's still certain songs that I went through in that moment that I will not listen to today.
Right.
I will never listen to that song unless I'm in a space where I'm alone and I'm able to vent the way I need to vent. But I just do not listen to certain music and certain songs concerning when I was going through that troubled time, because it always remind me, like, really, I will break down.
Just like y'all seen the video of our wedding day. He wasn't crying because I was singing.
I was.
He gonna keep lying. Nice. He gonna keep lying. I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. Nice. He was crying, and I'm not even feeling. I don't feel no type of way about it. I always joke with him about it. But y'all see at the beginning of the video, when I'm singing down the aisle, and you see him wiping his tears. He's not wiping his tears because of me. He's wiping his tears because she was there. We didn't think she was going to make it to our wedding. We didn't think that the courts.
Yeah, Jalen was the flower girl.
Yeah, she was the flower girl.
My daughter was the flower girl.
We did not think that she was going to be there. And do you know how hard it is for him to make the decision to still put a ring on my finger, one, get engaged, and then make up in his mind that he's still going to marry me whether she was there or not? But for her to be there. Literally, we got her back a month before. 2 months. 2 months before we got married. But he was willing to marry me without her being there. So when you see him crying in that video, it's because he got, of course, he got me, But on a serious note, I was crying watching her get dressed. Because I didn't think she was going to make it. I didn't think she was going to be in the room. I didn't think she was going to be able to be at the wedding. And the fact that she was there, I cried in Macy's when we was looking for her dress. I still have the video of my oldest daughter teaching my son and my daughter how to dance in the middle of the store, how to dance at the wedding.
So
those are moments that the grief still. I get what you're saying. Like, the grief is still there.
It's like just like PTSD.
Yes,
you know what I'm saying. It's
absolutely.
It's really a real thing, and so this is why a lot of times when Angel tell me, so many people say that Jay is a good man to me. Jay is a good man to I'm like, no. First of all, I understand Jay is a good brother to her because Jay was also a bad brother. I wasn't always a good brother. But she went with me through some of the toughest times. She held me down in the toughest times. She in the worst of, she's seen my worst moods. She's seen the worst of Jay Morris. I don't even gonna lie. Look, I can't even tell you the stuff that I did. Y'all would look at me
and that's and I have to, I'm gonna toot my own horn for a minute. That's real staying power when you love somebody, because again, when all of this was going on, me and James was just dating.
Right. So
when he got locked up, we were just dating.
I don't want, but that's why I always correct her. Oh, you're such a good, no. I'm a good man to you because I'm a good man to you. Simple as that. And it's just it really is just as simple as that. Because I know what it is to be a bad man, actually. I know what it is to be that other dude. I don't feel you deserve that. So I'm not that dude to you. But I could be. Because I know how to do it.
Hold up.
But I'm not. It's a choice. It is what it is.
Hold up.
It's a choice. However, because of what you are and who you have been, you deserve all the good things that life has to offer. You deserve all the wonderfulness that I could possibly give you.
And he is.
You deserve that. So yes, I will break my piggy bank for your dreams. I will break my piggy bank for whatever you need or feel you need to do. Because you held me down in the worst and the lowest of times. Many women would have left. Because I treated her bad. See, y'all don't know that part. I treated her bad. Bad.
Tasha, I love you, honey.
I wasn't hitting her. No, I'm not domestic like that. I wasn't doing all that.
I'm the domestic.
But I treated her bad. And I knew here's the thing. I couldn't help it. I knew I treated her bad.
But it wasn't because he wanted to treat me bad. It was because he didn't know how to process his grieving. That's what it was. He didn't know how to process the grieving. And we go full circle. We go full circle right back to the beginning of this. There was no outlet for him. Because, again, he was still doing all the things that he does even now. He was playing for 3 churches. He was playing for a bunch of different groups at the time. Still playing for One Accord, playing for Terry Rims. I mean, playing for a bunch of different groups. Playing for 3 or 4 funeral homes. He still work. And in all of that work, there was no outlet. There was covering, but sometimes you need a little more than just some covering.
Yeah.
And there was no open door policy to anyone at the time. And if there was, we didn't know it. And the only person that he trusted, that's why I said I wouldn't say that he felt like he treated me really bad, but I am a very strong person, so I can handle a lot. And I felt like at that time I needed to be whatever he needed. You need a punching bag, not in the literal sense.
No, not literal.
But if you need somebody to throw all this, you know what? I can handle it. I can handle it.
But it was really something, and it didn't stop until it stopped. And it was just as simple as that. That's why I said, look, I never say what the future holds. I never say never, but I do know about each and every day. You try your best to do what you can, and
I love y'all. Thank y'all so much.
Do better than what you did the last day. That's how you do. You can't control life. You can control your decisions. Life happens.
Right.
You can't control anything that's going to happen throughout your day, but you can control how you react to it. And your reaction is going to create your path for your destiny. Simple as that. And that's anybody.
Yeah.
And you can choose to be negative, or you can choose to be positive. And through my grief, I was a depressive eater. I gained 75 pounds. I was 320 pounds at my highest. because that's what I did.
Yeah,
I was emotionally.
It was
So all I did was eat and play because I didn't know what else to do. I was twice as big as I am now. I just didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to handle anything because I was so grief stricken, and there was nobody that I could talk to that would really understand. So Angel got most of the boatload of the grief talks. So yes, it is something that I believe that the church as a whole, because it almost, I would even say it led to some mental instabilities as well.
Yeah.
Even through that.
Yes, it did.
Because now it's changed the way I think. It's changed my mental process to where the PTSD is like, yo, I don't know if I want to do this again. Like it's really changed everything. So it's like when you are a depressive eater, you are an emotional eater. That's what you do to get by. Right. Some people drink, some people smoke, some people lust, some people do all this other, but I was an emotional eater.
Yeah.
And I
am an emotional eater, and literally in the time of Erica's death, I was a drinker. I drank, I think, almost every day for like 8 months straight.
Everybody has something.
That was my thing. And I was still ministering, and I was still doing everything that I was supposed to do. But when I got home, I would go in my room, I'd cry, I'd be angry with the world, my poor children. I shut the world out.
Wow, man.
I shut the world out, and I would drink. Until one day I had to literally, I'll never forget it. It was the day that we went to Jay Todd's concert when he was recording Dwell, and Pastor Benita Jones, shout out to you, baby. Pastor Benita Jones, while everything was going on, while worship was going on, I mean, when I say high worship was going on, I was the only one sitting in my seat with my arms folded. And she came off the side of the stage. She came and she put her arms around me and she prayed me back to life. And literally told me, Angel, she wouldn't want to come back here, but you can't sit here and die with her.
Yeah.
And she prayed me back to life. And there's no other way for me to say it. That's what she did. She prayed until I broke. Until I acknowledged what was going on. And we're talking about months and months and months. And don't get me wrong. Yes, her prayer did exactly what it needed to do, but I still went home and had a drink.
Yeah.
And it wasn't because she didn't pray right or anything like that. It was just because I have to now detach myself from this. And okay, Angel, it happened. There's nothing you can do about it. You know, and at the time it wasn't just, I have to say it. I felt like it was a death twice because this was also the time when Parker was taken from our home.
Yeah.
So losing E and then losing him within 6 months of each other.
Yeah, it was hard.
I was like, I lost my godson, I lost my sister, and you want me to keep living, and I don't want to.
Right.
Because I feel like I'm done at this point. And she was like, no, the way God has it. And now, here's the thing. Now I understand, because Lord have mercy, with everything that we've been going through for the last 2 years, with all the work that I've been doing, God knew I wasn't ready to have no baby,
And that's the thing.
So you don't see things right away when you're in it. Right. And grief will blind you.
Now, let me say this.
Grief will blind you.
The PTSD didn't just hit me.
Yes, Patrice, because you was there, baby. You was there at that Dwell concert.
The PTSD didn't just hit me and Angel. It also hit my daughter. Because when we finally brought her home, she didn't talk.
She didn't talk. Oh, my God.
She was mute.
She didn't talk for, oh, my God.
As much as she talks now, She was mute
She didn't
for
talk
almost
for
6 months.
almost 6 months. She used to write little notes. She would
had
write
to-
notes
we
like
had to
on a
go
post-it.
to a therapist.
Yeah.
We had to go to a therapist.
She used
for
to
months.
write notes and pass it to you.
Right.
And the note would say, I'm hungry.
Right. She would write me a note, Daddy, I'm hungry. And she would pass me the note in church.
In church.
It
She
don't
wouldn't
matter.
speak.
She would pass the note at home. She would not speak. She would say, I have to go to the bathroom. And she would pass me the note.
And pass
I would read
a
it.
note.
I said, hey, Jay, like, you can talk. And she would go to the bathroom and she would come back and she would write down whatever she needed to say. And she would draw and she was just mute.
She just wouldn't talk.
She wouldn't talk.
She would not talk.
She was that, like, it was really like that with her. And even though she was happy to be home, but it's just we had to
So
go
for
to a
all y'all who
therapist.
see her now out
You're
here
right, doing what she
dancing
does,
and singing
you know
and
why.
acting, this is why we
This is why we celebrate.
I'm not gonna cry.
Because
I'm a
she's
thug.
in the theater. She's
Because
into dancing.
of all the things
Right.
that she's
All
into,
the things,
this
you know,
baby did not speak for the first 6 months
For the
that she
first 6
came
months
back
she
to
came
us
home.
because she was.
Yeah.
I think she was going through a form of grief too. But yes, post traumatic stress had knocked her completely out of the game, and she was 7 years old when she
7 years
came
old.
back.
And we had to go to a therapist, and the therapist almost had to bring us together
Hey, Joel.
again and be like, okay, you can.
He
you
had
can
to
try
teach her how to be a daughter and teach
like-
him how to be a father all over again.
He had to teach us how to communicate again, because it's like I kept telling her, you don't have to write to me. You can talk. I'm right here.
But that's
You
the
know?
reason why we celebrate her the way that we do, because now you guys know the backstory of why
Right.
Jay Broadway is who she is.
Right. This is why.
Because it took a while to break her out of that shell.
Yeah.
It took a while, and we always knew the talent was there, but it was blocked by so much stress and grief and just drama.
Yeah.
And not something that a child should have to go through. First of all, her mind is already plagued with seeds of corruption
Right. Everything
from
that was
sexual
told about
abuse
me and
that
everything that was told about
never
Angel.
happened.
Yeah,
that never happened. Can you imagine if you tell somebody something over and over and over again, they're going to start to believe it?
Get brainwashed.
That's what happened.
Right.
You telling somebody that, this person did this to you, this person did this to you, this person.
Bitch, man.
After
you're
a while,
right, bro. I got you, man.
after a
Like,
while,
same thing.
you're gonna be like, did this person do it?
Yeah.
Did this person do that?
Yeah, stress.
Did this person do that?
Look, Richard
Like-
said, there was recently, never knew stress. I had stomach issues, but yeah, stress
Right.
can do that.
It was stress. Stress kills.
Can do that.
Stress
It
will
can.
kill you faster than any disease
Yeah.
will.
Stress can do that. And
I
that's
promise
the
you,
thing.
every time you go to the doctor's office for whatever reason that you're going for, stress is one of the underlying issues.
Yeah, stress is really something. So, it was such a traumatic situation, man, and I thank God for bringing me out. I thank God
Yes, we do.
for where we are now. That's why it's not good to always judge people, because you never know what God has brought them through.
Whew.
You never
Real.
know what situation got them to where they are. I don't care who you see, if they're doing well, if they're not doing well. You don't know what a person has been through. That's why it's not good to be envious. It's not good to be like, oh, she got so much money. I wish I had that cover. You don't know
Don't
what that
cover
person
people.
did.
You don't want to cover people's stuff because you don't
No.
want to cover people's problems
No.
either. You covet.
Right.
You're coveting what they have,
have,
but you
but
don't
not their
know what
issues.
they had to go through to get those things. I
Right.
don't want that.
A lot of
Some,
those,
I want to be.
Right.
I want to be skinny. But do you want to have cancer?
I was going to say, a lot of those folks you see out there that are doing well, they had to do a lot behind the scenes and are doing a lot to keep that kind of situation happening. A lot of people sold some things to get where they are. So don't think, okay, you want to be like them and you want to do this. You don't know what that person's been through. And
Like
you don't
my
know what
husband
they're
said a
doing.
couple weeks ago, what God has for you will wait for you.
We'll wait for you. And that's
It
the
will
truth.
wait for you. If you ain't
know,
ready yet, it'll be right there.
It'll be there when it's time for it to be there. It will not, you can't rush it. You can't rush it.
Exactly, Joel. And that's another that we literally just talked about that. People who have diseases are grieving.
Right. You
They're
don't
grieving
know-
their old
you don't know what
life.
a person is going through.
They're grieving the life what they did when they weren't sick.
Right. You don't know what a person is going
Like
through.
you
so
just
do
don't
that.
know. And we are so horrible when it comes to people and we don't give enough grace and we don't give enough mercy.
Yeah.
We don't give enough.
I'm
want
glad,
it, you want it, but you're not willing to give it.
Yeah, but I'm glad you guys came on tonight. Thank you all. We're going to go ahead and end the show right here. I appreciate everybody who watches weekly. Thank you all for
Pray
your
to
comments.
Jesus and find a therapist.
Yes. Find you a
Jesus
therapist.
and a couch is just fine.
If you are grieving, find you a therapist, psychiatrist, whatever you need. Find you somebody to talk to that you can trust. Do whatever you need to do. One thing about we say this when you come over our house. When you come over our
God
house,
has for
it
you
is
will wait for you.
non-judgmental at all.
Oh yeah, we have a no judgment zone in our house.
Zone. People have came over our house to vent. People have came over our house to scream. People come over our house to write.
People come over our house to sleep. I'll just listen. I'll walk away.
We
cry. I've had so many people come to my house just to cry.
We have a standing rule because you never know what people are going through.
Every Thursday at 8.
Yeah, every Thursday at 8, family. And listen, y'all, we're also live on YouTube. Check out our Instagram page, In the Key of JNA. Subscribe, share. Also follow us on Instagram, In the Key of JNA. I think I said that already. So make sure you subscribe and share. Check us out each week. We got a great show coming for you next week. Listen, we love y'all. If you need to go talk to somebody, don't be afraid. Don't be grievous, y'all. You don't have to. You don't have to
grieve alone. You don't have to grieve alone.
You have people out
it's
here that
okay.
will help.
There is a such thing as healthy grieving.
Yeah.
You can grieve healthy.
You can grieve healthy.
But sometimes you do need to reach out to somebody else. It's very difficult to. I ain't gonna lie. It was very difficult to come out of my grief without my husband. I needed somebody.
Yeah.
And I'm the type of person that everybody knows I don't like needing anybody.
Right.
I don't like to need anybody, but I realized that I needed somebody to pull me out, or else I was going to pull me under.
Yeah. So it's not
so
wrong.
Yes,
it's
nothing wrong
with
with seeking help. There's nothing wrong with praying. Please pray, but also find yourself a couch. It's all right.
Richard,
find yourself a couch.
No, let me tell you something, man. It may be hard to talk, but guess what, man? You know what I did the first 2 times talking to my therapist? I didn't talk at all. He talked.
Just get there.
Yeah, just get there.
Get there, Richard. Get there.
He shared with me until I had something to say back to him. And he went on from there. See, that's the thing. He didn't try to make me talk.
Right.
He talked to me, and I just sat there looking at him and just like, I don't really have nothing to say to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know how to do it. But when he finally got to a certain subject, I was like, wow, man, that's crazy. I remember a time, and there it went.
And understand that grief is not just death.
Yeah.
It's not just death.
Yes.
There's all kinds of grieving.
You,
there's all kinds of ways that you could be grieving, but there's also always a way out.
Yes.
There's a way out.
Yes.
Please, if you are feeling listen, I have to say this because my birthday is on Sunday, and I am a 4-time suicide survivor.
Come on.
If you feel like you are in a space where you just cannot take it, you find anybody that you trust.
Yeah.
Anybody that you trust, and just, you don't even have to say anything. Just be around somebody.
Yes.
Just get around somebody that you can trust. Because I found that every time I attempted suicide, I felt like I was the only person in the world. I was in a room full of people and felt like I was by myself. And that's when the enemy attacks me the most.
Yeah.
Is when I'm alone.
Yep.
The enemy attacks me the most when I am alone, and and he tells me all kinds of stuff that I know ain't even true.
Right.
But you want to hear it because you just want something to ease the pain.
Yep.
So please, if you are feeling like you're suicidal, talk to somebody immediately.
Yeah. We gotta get out of here, y'all. We love y'all.
We love y'all.
See y'all next week right here on the key. In the Key of JNA
podcast.
Y'all. And look, y'all, for those that follow Angel on Facebook, don't forget on Sunday to say a happy birthday to her, y'all.
Yes.
All right. Love y'all.
Yes.
Peace and blessings.